Hello everyone, welcome to the Comic and Movie Show. Sorry for that slight pause, I'm still just getting used to this camera. But I am here to give you a theory. Now this theory has been going around for a while now, but I'm just going to say it out. I believe that Boba Fett is the main villain of the Mandalorian show. And why I believe that Boba Fett might be the main villain is because the timeline just lines up. There has been hints for many years since Empire Strikes... Well, was it Empire Strikes Back or was it Return? No, since Return. Since Return of the Jedi, that Boba Fett survived falling in that pit. It's been talked about, rumored by George Lucas himself. It's been talked about and hinted in books. And the fact that this show takes place 5 years after Return of the Jedi, it lines up so that it makes... He can be there. It's not like this takes place far into the future afterwards to the point where he'd be an old man. Even in a book, apparently it says that they found burnt Mandalorian armor. So there's a chance that he's not even wearing his Mandalorian armor anymore. So there's a chance that Boba Fett is just a normal person and we don't know what he looks like underneath the helmet, which lends itself to him being in this show. I've also heard multiple people say that there's big spoilers in the first episode, and I'm sure if there's big spoilers in the first episode, there's going to be amazing things in the last episode. It would be big. I don't think Star Wars plans on using Boba Fett in his own solo movie or using him again, and it wouldn't make sense for them to use him anything in the current canon. So the only place it would make sense, logical sense, to use Boba Fett, where it doesn't interrupt anything, where he can be there and be this badass imposing figure, is in the Mandalorian show. But more than that, I believe them when they say that the Mandalorian isn't, Boba Fett. Now, there are some people who think that the Mandalorian is Boba Fett, that they're just hiding it, that they might be lying. Now, that might be true. If it turns out that the Mandalorian is Boba Fett, he's just, he survived, he got new armor, he's in disguise, he's left his life behind him. Now, that could be an interesting story, too. It's if it turns out he is. Now, that could be a big surprise, too. But those are the two big surprises. Those are the two big theories that I got out there. Is that the Mandalorian is Boba Fett, or that Boba Fett will be the main villain to the Mandalorian. Either he's going to be in this season, or he's going to be set up for the next season. But either way, I believe that Boba Fett will be in the Mandalorian. Because, first of all, let's take it one way or the other. Let me chase down my theory, and then I'll chase down the other theory. Boba Fett being in it as the main bad guy makes so much sense. Because you think about it. You're introducing a new Mandalorian. Let's just go with this theory that he is a completely new Mandalorian that no one's seen before, no one's, heard about. There aren't books written about this particular Mandalorian. So you're creating this Mandalorian from scratch. And you want him to be the new badass. And they're playing him up like he's this bad motherfucker. Like he's Clint Eastwood walking to town, dirty, hairy shit going on. He's just like, I'm a bad motherfucker and don't fuck with me. Even, I don't know what the character is, but the old man who's monologuing over the last trailer was talking about it. And even he, with the way he was talking about him, was like, you are the best you're one of the best, pretty much you're the best out here. You're the best bounty hunter in this parsec that you could even get. So he's a bad motherfucker. So how do you make him look even more badass? Is by having him go against Boba Fett and win. Well, or having him go against Boba Fett. Having the most well-known, recognized Mandalorian fight the new Mandalorian. Now that just sounds like a badass thing to me. Couldn't you see it, envision it? Him and his silver helmet and Boba Fett and his green helmet and them just shooting at each other and battling each other, hand-to-hand combat shooting, just trying to take each other out using all these tactics that they all know. And it would just be phenomenal. I could see it in my head. And it would immediately make the show even more cooler because you'd just be like, the villain of this show is motherfucking Boba Fett. And that would just be amazing. It'd be amazing. It would elevate the show to another level. Not to say that I'm not excited for I always say his name wrong. I'm gonna just call him Gus Fring. Gus Fring from I can never say his name. It's like Exposito. I can never say his name right. He's a great actor though. He did a phenomenal job. The only thing I've ever seen him in is Breaking Bad as Gus Fring, but he was so fucking great and intimidating and imposing without saying much. He's doing a good job as like this leader of these death troopers. And I'm sure he's going to be a villain for a nice chunk of it, and I'm sure he's going to do a phenomenal job. And, you know, maybe they'll be able to build him up to give him a big villain status. But I just think Mandalorian would be missing out on a major opportunity if they do not use Boba Fett. If they do not answer, because they have an opportunity to answer a question that no one truly actually knows the answer to. There are hints to the answer, but no one truly knows. Lucas has never come out and publicly and said what happened. No one really knows what happened to Boba Fett when he fell in that pit. People think he got out. Some people don't. Some people think it was the end of him. No one really knows. But this show, The Mandalorian, is going to give them an opportunity to answer that question for people. To go, yep, not only was he alive, but this is why you haven't heard from him again, because these events with this Mandalorian are why he died. Or the other direction, this Mandalorian played by Pedro Pascal, aka Narcos. You probably seen you probably seen him in Narcos, or Game of Thrones, or he was in Kingsman 2 as Whiskey, or was it Tequila? I think it was Whiskey. But the other angle is Pedro Pascal is Boba Fett. He's Boba Fett. He survived it. He is Boba Fett. He's going. It would make sense if he turns out to actually be Boba Fett. It would make sense. Think about it. The Empire falls. You're well known for being in collusion with them. You would go low. Change his name. Got new armor. He got new armor, and that's why he's living this ambiguous life. And this entire story is just Boba Fett's journey to redemption. I'm okay with that if that turns out to be the case. If he turns out to be Boba Fett and this entire story is just Boba Fett's journey to redemption, I would be cool with that. I am one for a good bad dude who used to do bad things but now wants to be a better person stories. I am cool with that. There hasn't really been a lot of those stories. I don't think there hasn't really been a story like that told in inside of the Star Wars universe, so that would immediately make it interesting. Now, I think my personal opinion is Boba Fett's going to show up to be the villain, but if it turns out that the titular Mandalorian played by Pedro Pascal is Boba Fett, and this story is basically about his redemption, about him coming to terms with what happened, I don't think that's the case because of those flashbacks and whatnot, but the only thing I know for sure is I personally completely believe Boba Fett's going to be in The Mandalorian. I'm gonna, the first episode, I would start looking for signs. Personally, if I was them, I wouldn't have him be in this first season. I'd have them set him up. But and the thing is, like I said, they have this opportunity because literally you could just say he could be anyone. That's the thing. He could be anyone. Think about the shock when this character that's been chilling with him, this character that they introduced who's been a friend of him throughout the course of the season, turns out to actually be Boba Fett without the helmet on. That would just blow people's fucking skulls off, man. And that's all I'm thinking about. I'm just that's what they're gonna do, man. I know it. I fucking know it. I'm calling it here. So come back to this video when you watch the final episode of goddamn Mandalorian, and one of his friends, I don't know, some random character named Chubby or something. I don't know, some random word. And he's this cool guy. He's pretty good with a gun. You know, he's incompetent, but he's a fun-loving guy. And then it turns out, no, this motherfucker's Boba Fett. And it's what? I'm telling you, some shit like that is gonna happen. Boba Fett will be in this. There's no way to avoid that. You have to have him in this. This is the only place he can show up in anything they're doing, which would make logical sense and wouldn't really mess with anything. It would make perfect sense. We either need him to be Boba Fett, which I don't think they're going to do, or we need him to fight Boba Fett. Maybe, third and last one before I call it a video, there is the chance that maybe Boba Fett is a good guy, is an ally. Maybe Boba Fett's an ally. Maybe Boba Fett is an ally looking for redemption. Who knows? That's a chance. maybe Boba Fett raised him. I mean, helped teach him all these things. Who knows? All I know for a fact is, I have no sources. I got nobody telling me this. I got nothing that's up. I just have this feeling. Boba Fett will be in The Mandalorian in one capacity or another. He will be hinted to. He will be in it. No, screw that. I'm not saying he's going to be hinted to. I'm not saying they're going to reference him. I'm saying he is going to be in this. Either this season or next season. He's going to be in this as the bad or as an ally, something. He's going to be in this. So, thank you for joining me on the Comic Game Movie Show. Do you agree with me? Do you think Boba Fett will be in The Mandalorian? I believe so. I believe this is a perfect opportunity. I believe they can answer a question that's been around for about 20 years now. I believe that they can pop all the fanboys' ball sacks with this. I believe this is the way to go. I believe they can elevate the Mandalorian series from a fucking 9 to a 10.10. Thank you. Have a good day, people. Please remember to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.